Standard 7th, Social Science, Chapter number 4, Rajput Age. Parimal was watching a historical serial on TV in which he saw a palace. A thought arose in his mind. Are such palaces still in existence? Who had constructed such palaces? Being curious, he went to his grandfather to get answer to this and other similar questions. His grandfather told him a few things like what is discussed below. Such palaces were constructed by kings in ancient times. We come across many such palaces, some of which are in ruins. Ruins means, children, the physical destruction, while others are in good condition. There is a difference between the construction of structures in present times and the kind of work done in earlier ages. From these differences, we can make out the period during which a particular structure was constructed. Monuments. Children, monuments are the buildings erected to commemorate. Commemorate means to remember a notable person or event, that is known as a monuments. Constructed during the Rajput age can be seen even today. To know about the era, let us know about the main Indian dynasties of that time. So, as Parimal, there are several children, there are many children who want to know that really this palace's existence. Today we see number of palaces, children. Here in our city also you can see many forts are there, like Uppercote is there, Bahudin College is there. They are the palaces made by the king of that time, of that era. So the Parimal is also going and asking the similar question. So his father wants to tell that there are many palaces which were constructed in the ancient time by the king, and the differences of that construction you can see if you have ever visited Bahudin College, or if you have ever visited to Uppercote, or Taj Mahal is one of the finest construction during the Mughal era. If you have gone, if you have seen that kind of construction, you will not be able to see that kind of construction in today's time. Rise of new dynasties. Sorry, rise of new dynasties. After the death of Emperor Harshvardhan in the middle of 7th century CE, many feudal chieftains and landlords declared themselves to be independent and founded new dynasty. So we have learned in the first chapter, children. The first chapter was about two big states. In the two big states, the country was divided into two parts, that is the north part of the country and the south part of the country. So we learned that the northern part was ruled by Harshvardhan, and the southern part of the country was ruled by Pulkeshi. They were the two noteworthy contemporary kings, you can say. They were ruling at the same time, and their situation and their characteristics were, both of their characteristics were same. So what happened after the death of Harshvardhan, children? After the death of Harshvardhan in the 7th century, many feudal chieftains, children. What is this feudal chieftains? We will see in the next slide. Here on the right hand side, you can see the map is given, children. It is there in the textbook, and you can see the different dynasties which were ruling during that period in our country. And the down you can see the temple architecture during the Rajput time. So these are the different monuments made by during the Rajput age. Children, moving on towards the North India. This I have made to make you clear, children. The noteworthy kings during, or noteworthy dynasty during the during after the death of King Harshvardhan. Harshvardhan used to rule Kannauj, and after Harsha, the Pratihara dynasty came into the rule. And who was there? The noteworthy king, or the famous king of that time was Yashovarma. Then come the Parma dynasty. Parma dynasty was ruled by King Munj and Boj. Pala dynasty, Gopal. Sen dynasty, Samantasena, ruled by. Chauhan dynasty was ruled by Ajay Raje. Tomar dynasty was ruled by Prithviraj III. Gohils or Guhils dynasty were ruled during by Bappa Raval. Solanki dynasty, Mulraj Solanki. So, children, what I mean to tell you is that these were not the rulers right after the Harshvardhan. There were many other rulers who have ruled in this dynasty, but this rulers, the name of these rulers, they were the most famous rulers of this dynasty, or noteworthy rulers of this dynasty. So, I have made it separately so that you will not have any kind of confusion. Moving towards the South India. South India. Chalukya dynasty, as you know, it was ruled by the noteworthy king Pulkeshi II. Pallava dynasty, Narsimha Chola dynasty, Rajaraj I. Rashtrakuta dynasty, Danti Durga, he is the founder of the Rashtrakutas dynasty. Pandya dynasty, Maravarman I. Chera dynasty, Shengtuvan Chera. These are the names of the famous king in the South Indian dynasty, South Indian part. This Chalukya dynasty, Pallava dynasty, Chola dynasty, Rashtrakuta dynasty, Pandya dynasty, and Chera dynasty, and they are the noteworthy rulers of these dynasties. Things to know, children. Let us understand, as I told you earlier, who is a feudal lord or landlord. The vast empire was divided into different provinces, three parts. What is this divided into three parts? For example, if we see Gujarat, children, Gujarat is not a small state, isn't it? From Veravel coastline till the Navsari, that is the end of the Gujarat, you can say, and then after Navsari, the Mumbai state begins. So till then, you will see that in Gujarat there are several cities, several towns, several villages. So same way, the vast empire of Kannauj, if you say, for example, the North Indian part, it was divided into three provinces. The person who collected the revenue of a particular province was called the landlord or the feudal lord, or he was also known as Samanta. So the person who was collecting the money from that part as a tax, the person who was collecting, he was either known as a landlord, Jamindar, what we call Jamindar, or feudal lord, or he was also known as Samanta. The landlord gave some portion of land revenue to the king, rest he kept with him, out of which he maintained an army. So it was like a contract, children. So this landlord, this feudal lord, what they used to, whatever amount is collected from the land, half they used to give to the king, and the rest, with the rest money, what they used to do, they used to train the armies like a contractor, you can see. They used to train the armies, and whenever their battle occurs, whenever the king needs the army, they used to provide this army to the king. The landlord gave some portion of land revenue to the king. He kept the rest with him, out of which he maintained an army. He sent his army whenever the king needed help. In time, this landlord became powerful, and feudalism, that is Samanta Sahi, came into existence. So when the king was not there, now there is no more king. So the who was the which people were having the power? The landlord, the feudal lord, they were having the power. So finally the power of that provinces came into the hand of the feudal lord, and then they started ruling the kingdom of Kannauj. Many dynasties came into existence. So the kingdom of Kannauj now slowly was divided into many small parts, and the small parts were ruled by the feudal lord. The main dynasty ruling North India were the Gurjar. Gurjar is Gujarat, children. Pratihara, Pal, Chalukya, Parmar, and Chauhan dynasty. Among those in South India were the Pallava, Rashtrakuta, Kalyani Chalukya, Chair, Pandya, and Chola dynasties. The kingdoms of the early medieval period were divided into two parts. So again, the kingdom is divided into two parts. Before it was only Harshvardhan and Pulkeshi. Now after the death of Harshvardhan and Pulkeshi, the North India was divided or disintegrated into several parts, and several dynasties were formed up. North India and South India. North India, after the death of Harsha, many kings ascended the throne. Ascended means climbed on the throne of Kannauj. Among them, Yashovarma is considered as a powerful ruler. After him, the Pratihara dynasty established its rule in Kannauj. They protected India from Arab invention. Invention means they protected the country India from by attacking from the Arabs. Mihir Boj was also known as Boj, was the most powerful ruler of this dynasty. Children, King Boj, who ruled from about 1010 to 1060, was a great polymath and philosopher king of medieval India. His extensive writings cover philosophy, poetry, medicine, veterinary science, phonetics, yoga, and archery. Under his rule, Malwa became an intellectual center of India. Boj also founded the city of Bhopal to secure the eastern part of his kingdom. The Boja airport at Bhopal is named after King Boja. He fought many battles with the Rashtrakuta during his reign. This Rashtrakuta is in the south part of the country. So from the north part, like Harshvardhan children, he also wanted the Chalukya dynasty. So what he did, he started to he had waged a war against Pulkeshi too, but Pulkeshi too was more braver than he was more brave than Harshvardhan. So he did not allow Harshvardhan to come forward. So he has to keep his kingdom up till Narmada. The same way, Boja also tried to attack Rashtrakuta. We will learn about Rashtrakuta in the later. The Parmar dynasty ruled Malwa, Ujjain and Dhar Nagri were the two main cities of Malwa. Dhar Nagri is known as the Dhar district of Madhya Pradesh at present. King Munch and King Boj of Parmar dynasty were not only good rulers but also good poets. They gave patronage. Patronage means they supported to the scholars in their courts. Raja Boj or King Boj made Dhar Nagari the center of studies. As I told you, children, he was interested in many fields, so he had made a center of study, that is Vidya Nagari, and established a university, Vidya Peeth, for the studies of Sanskrit literature. Many architectural monuments were built during this time. The Parmars fought many battles with the Chalukyas of the south. After the death of Raja Boj, the kingdom of Malwa weakened. So as soon as Raja Boj died, the kingdom of Malwa started declining. Here, this is the thing to know, children. It is said that Raja Bhoj suffered from the brain tumor in his early age. In the early 10th century, he was operated. Can you believe, children? In the 10th century, also, there were doctors who operated, and they were operated by two brothers from Ujjaini who sent him into a controlled coma. Controlled coma, children, means to put in a state of a unconsciousness, that is known as controlled coma, using a medicine called sammohini. They then opened his skull means brain, and removed his tumor. Raja Boj survived this surgery and lived a healthy life. Children, this is for your only information. There were nearly 36 Rajput clans. Clans means, children, they were interrelated to each other like cousins, no? They were interrelated to each other. So there were totally 36 clans in India, and out of that, the most important clans were the Pratiharas of Avanti, the Palas of Bengal, the Chauhans of Delhi and Ajmer, the Tomars of Delhi, the Rathors of Kannauj, the Guhilas or Sisodias of Mewar, the Chandelas of Bundelkhand, the Paramars of Malwas, the Senas of Bengal, and the Solankis of Gujarat. The rulers of the Pala dynasty and Sen dynasty ruled in Bihar, Bengal. If we talk about the Pala dynasty right from the 8th to the 12th century, and its founder Gopala was a local chieftain. He was only a leader, was rose to power in the mid 8th century during a period of anarchy. And then his successor Dharmapala greatly expanded the kingdom and for a while was in control of Kannauj. Pala power was maintained under Deva Pala children. Then but thereafter the dynasty declined in power and Mahendrapala, the Gurjara Pratihara emperor of Kannauj in the late 9th and early 10th centuries penetrated as far as northern Bengal and Pala's strength was restored by Mahipala I whose influence reached as far as Varanasi but on his death the kingdom again weakened. So this was a small knowledge about the Pala dynasty. The rulers of the Pala dynasty had added Pala to their names and so their dynasty was known as the Pala dynasty. Many Rajput rulers of the Chauhan or Chahman dynasty ruled over various parts of Rajasthan during the 7th and 8th century CE. Of them, one branch ruled over Sakambari, a place near Lake Sambar, which is to the north of Ajmer. In the beginning of the 8th century, Ajay Raj ascended the throne of Shankbari in 12th century. He established the city of Ajay Meru, which later came to known as Ajmer. So who had found out this Ajay Meru children? Ajay Raj. Moving on towards the next powerful ruler of the Chauhan or Chahaman dynasty. The rulers of Chauhan dynasty captured Delhi, the capital of Tomar's king, and established their supremacy. Prithviraj III or Rai Pitora was a powerful ruler of the Chauhan dynasty. He is unparalleled in the history of India. Many stories and folk songs have been written about his bravery on the battlefield. Chand Bardai, a famous poet, has written about Prithviraj Chauhan's valor in his epic Prithviraj Raso. We shall learn about the battle between Prithviraj Chauhan and Shahubuddin Muhammad Gori later. So, children, here I have given you the family tree of Prithviraj Chauhan. This is the Chauhan dynasty, and the father and mother of Prithviraj is King Shomeshwara and Queen Karpura Dev, and they have two children, that is Prithviraj and Hari Raja children. The Chauhan children, one thing to know about is that the Chauhan kingdom became the leading state and a powerful kingdom in northern India under the king Prithviraj III. He is also known as children Prithviraj Chauhan or Rai Pitora. Prithviraj has become famous in folk tales and historical literature as the Chauhan king of Delhi who resisted and repelled the invasion of Muhammad of Ghor at the first battle of Tahran in 1191. Armies from other Rajput kingdoms, including Mewar, assisted him. So he was not alone fighting with the Shahubuddin Gori or the Muhammad Gori. Other kingdoms also helped him to achieve this battle. The Chauhan kingdom collapsed after Prithviraj faced defeat in the war, the battleground against Muhammad of Ghor in 1192 at the second battle of Tarain. So in the first battle he won, but the second battle with Shahubuddin Muhammad Ghori, he failed. So he could not achieve back again the Chauhan dynasty. This is the book, children, on your right hand side, that is Prithviraj Raso, written by Chand Bardai, and he was a famous poet in the court of Prithviraj Chauhan. The Gohils or Guhils of Mewar, who were later known as the Sisodia Rajputs, hold a unique position in medieval history. It is said that Bappa Raval established this dynasty. During the Rajput era, the Chedi dynasty ruled over Jabalpur, which is to the south of river Narmada, that is Madhya Pradesh. It was known as the Chedi dynasty of Kalachuri, with its capital at Tripuri, at present Teva. In the medieval era in Gujarat, the Rajput dynasties of the Chawdas, followed by the Solankis, ruled over Anilwad Patan. There were many valiant rulers of this dynasty about whom we will study. A small information about the Gohils. The Gohil Rajputs of the solar race means children, Surya Vansh we call it, to which belonged Ramchandra and the Vallabhi dynasty migrated to Mewar after the destructions of Vallabhi in Kathiawar, that is Gujarat. They were also known as Guhila Putra, the name being derived from Guhu. Guhu means cave. The founder of the Gohil or Guhiletan was born in a cave in 542 AD after the fall of Vallabhi, and so the dynasty came to be known as Gohil. He became chief of a hilly tract of forest near modern Idar in North Gujarat and held sway till he died around, leaving behind a dynasty that in the centuries to come gave rise to kingdoms in Rajputana, Saurashtra and Gujarat, central India and the Deccan, and from which also emanated the Ranas of Nepal. Children, learn we about Anil Wat Patan. I want to Anil Wat Patan, children, you have learned in the sixth standard, if I remember. This Anil Wat Patan actually is known as Patan, an ancient fortified city was founded in 745 AD by Vanraj Chawda, the most prominent king of the Chawda kingdom. He named the city Anilpur Patan or Anilwad Patan after his close friend and prime minister Anil Gadaria. So on his name this Anilwad Patan was made. Moving on towards the South India. During the Rajput era, many big and small states were established in South India. After the demise means death of Pulkeshi II, his vast empire disintegrated. Disintegrated means children broken into small pieces or break up into small pieces, like same like Harshvardhan's Kannauj. The reign of many rulers of the Chalukya dynasty is noteworthy. The kingdom of the Pallava and the Chola dynasty are also included in the states of South India. Narsivarma was a strong ruler of the Pallava dynasty. The emperors of this dynasty were lovers of art and literature. The Kailashnath temple of Kanchi is the best example of Pallava architecture. If we talk about the Kailashnath temple of Kanchi, which is Kanchipuram children, it is located in Tamil Nadu and it is a Hindu temple in the Dravidian architectural style. It is dedicated to Lord Shiva and is known for its historical importance. The temple was built from 685 to 705 AD by Rajasimha, that is Narsivarman II, the ruler of the Pallava dynasty. The Chola dynasty also ruled in the south. Tanjore was their capital. The rulers of Chola dynasty attacked Ceylon. Ceylon children at present is known as Sri Lanka and annexed many territories. So they had added so many territories to their dynasty. The Cholas had a powerful navy because of which they could attack countries even across the sea. So they had a powerful navy which worked on the sea, which worked on the water. So it was very easy for them to attack the other countries through the medium of powerful navy. Raja I adopted a very systematic way of administration in his state. He started with the measurement of land and local self-government. Apart from them, the Rashtrakuta, Chera and Pandya dynasties also ruled in South India. So it is evident that many dynasties ruled at different places during the Rajput age. So as I have explained you earlier children, due to this feudal lord or the Samanta system, the kingdom was divided into different small parts, and with the help of the small parts there were so many dynasties, and these dynasties were ruled by different rulers. There were frequent battles between them to annex each other's area. So there were often the battles were taken place between their clans, between the Rajput clans. Due to the internal conflicts, there were no unity among them. So often there was a fight, and because of that, there was not a unity among them. Foreign invaders means the people those who were coming out of the country. They knew that they were fighting inside, so they took the advantage of this. We will discuss the administration and culture during the Rajput era in the next unit. Things to know, children, this you learn by heart. Rulers of Rajput dynasty in the medieval age, that is Utpala dynasty, ruled in Kashmir. Salamb, Harjar Varma, Vanamal Varma, etc. ruled in Kamrupa, Assam. Nagabhatta I, Devraj, Mihir Bhoj, Mahendrapala, etc. were the great rulers of the Pratihara. Shahiya dynasty ruled in Gandhar, Chandela ruled in Bundelkhand in the beginning, Tomar ruled in Dillak, that is Delhi. Rashtrakutas ruled South India with the fall of Chalukya dynasty. Rashtrakuta came to power. And if we talk about the Rashtrakuta, they ruled from the part of South India from 8th to 10th century. At its zenith, their kingdom included the modern state of Karnataka. In its early, where we have learned, children, the Pulkeshi Badami, which is in Karnataka, in its entirely along with the parts of current Indian states of Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Maharashtra, and Gujarat. Their importance can be gauged from the writings of many Islamic travelers and scholars, especially Al Masudi and Ibn Khordabi, who wrote that all other kings of India at that time prayed to the Rashtrakutas as a higher power and prostrated themselves in the reverence before them. Such was their influence and impression. And let us see the rise, children. The name Rashtrakuta, children, here they are saying head of a state or area. The name Rashtrakuta in Sanskrit means Rashtra means country and chieftain. Kutta means chieftain or the leader or the head. This explains their lineage from the time of the Mauryan Emperor Ashoka the Great, when they were primarily small clan heads in different parts of India. So, it is believed that the founder of the dynasty was an officer of that community, and hence the dynasty was named after him. Out of many rulers, Govind III was the most powerful king. In the 8th century, he established a powerful kingdom in the Deccan. So, in the Rashtrakuta dynasty, children, the most powerful about, if any king about we talk about, is the history is talking about, is about the Govind III. The Pandyas also ruled over South India. The Pandya dynasty is believed to be very ancient. Ancient means old. Children, the Pandyan kingdom was located in Tamil Nadu, South India, and Pandyan kingdom extended during the Sangam age comprised the present districts of Madurai, Tirunelveli, Ramnad in Tamil Nadu. Madurai was the capital city and Korkai the chief port of the kingdom, which became the great centers of trade and commerce. The Sangam literature provides a long list of Pandyan kings, out of which some of them became the most popular king. The inscriptions of Emperor Ashok also contain references to the Pandyas. The Pandyas ruled in present-day Madurai and Tirunelveli in Tamil Nadu. Cheras ruled over South India. Chera is now known as Kerala. In ancient time, Kerala was a part of the Tamil state. Later on, Kerala or Malayalam state separated. Kepalputra Rajya is mentioned in the inscriptions of Ashoka. Athan too was the first strong ruler of this dynasty. Cheran Shatungvan was a powerful ruler of this dynasty. Think, why did many rulers of South India maintain a naval force? Why are the old architectural monuments preserved? Why were wells, lakes, step wells, etc. constructed like temples in ancient times? Children, the answers are given in red color on your right hand side of the screen. Kindly copy down on a paper and stick it in your book. Things to know: dynasties of South India in the medieval period. Chalukyas ruled Vatapi, Badami, Rashtrakutas ruled Manyakheta, Hoshyala ruled Dwar Samudra, Yadavas ruled Devigiri, Cholas ruled Tanjavur. Pride of Rajput rulers. Rajputs were very brave. They felt proud to give up their lives for their country, to die but never fear, to and fight for truth were their special traits. Rajput women, Rajputani, were known for their chastity and fearlessness. Chastity means having not having any kind of extramarital affairs. They sent their husbands, sons, and brothers to the battlefield with a smiling face. They were so brave that if needed, they would fight on the battlefield. So they were so brave that they were ready to fight in the battlefield also. They preferred Johar to burn alive if their husbands were defeated or attained martyrdom in war. So they were ready to die. They had a system like Johar, in that if the husband died, they have to burn themselves. The heroic stories of the Rajput age are engraved. Engraved means children, written in the golden letters in the history of India. Things to know. Ranki Vav. Ranki Vav is a seven storied stepwell in Patan, Gujarat. Udaymati, the wife of Bhimdev too, constructed it. It is an unparalleled means children, unique example of a stone architectural structure. Children, you can see on the down, on the left hand side of your screen, I have put the picture of the Ranki Vav. Vastupal and Tejpal built Jain temples in Dilwara in Mount Abu, Rajasthan. This in the middle of the screen you can see Dilwara temple, which is made out of marble. Pillars, arcs, domes, balconies, etc. were engraved minutely by skilled artists. Vastupal and Tejpal were the ministers of Rana Virdhwal of Dholka, Gujarat. Vastupal constructed Jain temples at Girnar, Palitana, Sherta, Daboi, Gujarat, etc. You can see on the right hand side of the screen the construction done by Vastupal. I hope children you understood this lesson. Kindly go through it and understand it well.